What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm down at Randy Marion Subaru and we're going to take a look at this 2021 Subaru Crosstrek Sport. Huge shout out to them for providing this vehicle for me today. Make sure you check out their website. That link is down in the description. The model that you see behind me is finished off in crystal white pearl and it has an MSRP just over $30,000. We're going to start off today's review with what powers this Crosstrek. Up underneath the hood, you'll find the 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine paired with the CVT transmission. It pumps out 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque. It is all-wheel drive, weighs in right around 3,300 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in just under 8 seconds, up to its top speed of 130 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 16.6 gallons, and you can expect to see around 27 miles per gallon in the city and 34 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 104.9 inches. Its overall length is 176.5. It has a width of 71, a height of 63.6 inches. Its ground clearance measures in at 8.7 inches, and it also has an approach angle of 18 degrees, a breakover angle of 20 degrees, and a departure angle of 29 degrees. As we work our way to the exterior now, I'm going to start off with the headlight housing. You'll notice this has a really nice design to it. We have the turn signals on the outermost section, high beams are right in the middle. This also has DRLs as well, but I really like the design. It flows nicely with all the other lines that come off of it. You'll notice there's one right in the corner here that flows all the way down to the lower section of the bumper, and another one that comes from the hood and goes all the way to the corner of the grille, where you'll also notice another line coming off that point and extending all the way to the hood. So it's really nice how everything flows together, just gives it a great overall design. This model also has fog lights. You'll see those down in the lower section with some really nice trim surrounding it, and that extends all the way to the lower section of the bumper, where you'll also notice some cutouts to provide cooling to that engine. You'll also see a lot of cutouts in the upper grille too. Has more of that trim and a really nice design to it. And you'll see more of those lines continuing around the grille just to give it a great look. As we work our way to the side profile now, I'm gonna start off with the wheels for this model. We have a really nice set of dark gray wheels. They measure 17 inches and have a 5-spoke design to them. They mesh really nicely with the rest of the trim surrounding this sport model, where you'll also notice we have more of that trim on the fender flares, and it flows nicely to the lower side skirt, giving it that sporty appearance. This also has dark gray side mirror caps along with the integrated turn signal. You'll notice up top too, this comes with a sunroof, and we have the black roof racks just to give it a great look. You'll see all the trim surrounding the windows is finished off in black as well. And there's some really nice lines that run down the side profile. There's one that starts at the headlight and it goes just above the fender flares, and then it breaks off just underneath the side mirrors. And there's one line that flows above the door handles and another one that goes just underneath it. So it gives it a great side proportional design. You'll also notice this very crisp line in the lower section of the door. It flares out just a little bit to give it that added aggressive touch. And last up for this Crosstrek Sport, I'm going to start up top with the gloss black spoiler. You'll also notice the integrated third brake light and some black trim pieces on both sides of the glass just to tie in everything together nicely. This also has the wiper blade mounted in the lower section just to help improve with better visibility. This model also has LED taillights with a really nice design in this housing, and you can see they protrude into the liftgate here along with having the turn signal just below it. This also has a backup camera. You can see more of that trim surrounding the edges of the bumper that ties in with the rear fender flares, and this also has a towing capacity up to 1,500 pounds. Now it's time to take a look at the interior on this Crosstrek Sport. I have the vehicle locked and the key in my pocket. I'm just going to grab the door handle and you can hear it unlock, or now we can move on to this door panel. You'll see a really nice gray leather along with stitching running along the armrest. It's perforated on the insert just behind that. You can also see the carbon fiber-like material surrounding the release handle. We have all of the window controls along with the side mirror adjustments, lock and unlock. This also has a 6-speaker audio sound system, and you can see there's a good amount of storage space in the lower section of the door. But now as we work our way to the interior, you can see the two-tone design for these leather seats. Crosstrek is finished off in yellow, which matches the sport badge on the exterior, but you can see the two-tone stitching running down the bolsters, really nice inserts to them. These are heated seats as well, and they are manual adjusting, so you can pull this bar up front to move them forwards and backwards. We have the lumbar support along with the recline and incline adjustment behind that. And now once inside with my foot on the brake, it's time to start it up. And looking at this gauge cluster, you'll see the tach on the left side, miles per hour is on the right side, and in the lower section of the LCD screen, you'll see the fuel gauge along with the odometer, what gear you're in, and then in the upper section, you can see a live readout for the MPG, and then just below that, we can go through a lot of information by using these three buttons over on the left side of the steering wheel. So right now, if I just push on the down arrow, I can pull up the average MPG along with the distance until empty. You can see another screen for that, along with how long the vehicle has been on and running. You can also pull up the miles per hour. We have another screen here for the engine start stop. You can also pull up the PSI for the tires. And if I hold on that center button, there's a lot more information that we can go through. We can go into the screen setup, so you can go through all this information and configure it how you would like to. You can also go down to your warning volume, so you can adjust that if you'd like to. We have the rear seat reminder. You can go into eyesight, and basically all of this is for the forward collision, the adaptive cruise. So you can go through all of those different settings along with the lane keeping assist and configure that how you would like as well. You also have vehicle settings along with any default settings to go back to them, of course. As we work our way to this leather wrapped steering wheel now, you'll see all of the gold stitching along with the gold trim on the lower section. Gives it a great accent for this interior. Over on the right side is all of the cruise and adaptive cruise control settings. And then we have two different drive modes. Just by pushing on these buttons here, you'll see SI drive, and you'll see that diagram change just depending on the power output for the different driving modes. So that's great to see. And then over on the left side, we have volume and tuning for the radio, along with Bluetooth and voice commands. This model also has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, so you can see them on both sides, finish off in black. And then as we work our way to the left side of the steering wheel, you'll see the blind spot along with the engine start stop feature, traction control, and a dimmer switch for the gauges. You'll also notice the fuel cap release down in the floorboard there. We have one air vent along with a little bit more stitching. And then right in the middle, we have another LCD screen. You can see the stitching running above that. This screen currently shows the outside temperature along with average MPG, fan speed for your climates, along with where the air is going and the time. So it's great to see all of that information tucked away. And then below that, this has the optional 8-inch touchscreen system. So right now, if I push on this home button up top, we can pull up all these apps from phone, different settings. You can go into the apps, media, and radio. There's also a few different blank pages if you'd like to add some more apps, so that gives you an area to do that. If I click on apps here, you can pull up all this information. So it makes it very easy to go through. You'll also notice a CD player just below that. We have a physical button for the home dial just below that, along with some shortcuts to phone and radio. You can see power and volume for the radio along with tuning and a few other buttons just below that. Has a really nice clean design to it as well, especially with the outside being finished off in black. You'll also notice an air vent on both sides of that. And then as we work our way below that, you'll see all the climate controls. They're laid out well. We have the temperature on the left, fan speed right in the center, and where you'd like the air to go is over on the right side. And as I showed earlier, you'll see all those adjustments in that upper screen. You'll also notice a good amount of storage space, along with 2 USB ports, an auxiliary, and a 12 volt, so you have a lot of space for any items that have to go there. And then as we work our way to the shifter, you'll see the shift boot is finished off in leather with yellow stitching to match all the other accents. If I pull the release up front and go into reverse, you'll see the backup camera up here with all the guidelines. So it definitely provides you with a lot of rear-facing visibility. You'll also notice the manual parking brake. We have the heated seat controls over on the right side, along with the X mode. So just by pushing on that, you can go between snow, dirt, and deep snow and mud. So you have a few different settings to take this off-road if you'd like to. With that all-wheel drive system, this is a very capable vehicle. You'll notice there's 2 cup holders just behind that control. And then as we work our way to the center armrest, it's finished off in that gray with more stitching. And you'll see there's 2 USB ports along with a 12 volt and a good amount of storage space for anything you'd like to place there. And then as we work our way to the glove box, definitely a lot of room there. You'll see more of that trim and yellow stitching running just above that. We'll take one last look at these seats, which have a really nice design to them. And as I mentioned earlier, this does have a sunroof. So we have the manual sunshade with all the automatic controls for the sunroof, along with the dome lights on both sides of that. And we have the lane keeping assist along with a safety feature button as well. As we hop into the back seats now for this Crosstrek, I'm gonna start off with the amount of room that I have. At 5'10", plenty of room for my feet and my legs with the front seat set at my height. The roofline actually goes back up, giving me around 2 or 3 inches above my head, which is nice to see. We have a little bit of storage behind the passenger seat. Same attention to detail you saw on the front door panel too, with all this carbon fiber-like material just to give it a great look. These seats are also really comfortable. We have that 2-tone design to them as well. And you can fold these seats down. They have a 60-40 split to them, which provides you with a lot of interior storage if you need to use it. And last up, we'll take a look at the rear storage space. So I'm just gonna use the button up underneath the Subaru logo, and we can open up this rear liftgate, where you'll see there's a lot of storage space, even with the back seats up. This model has the all-weather floor mat, along with the storage net if you need to use it, and this removable cover, so you can lock this in place or completely remove it if it is in the way. And then you can fold down these back seats, as I mentioned earlier, where you can see they have a nice rubberized texture to them to help protect the back when you have any items in here. And there is plenty of room for any items you'd like to place in the back, making this a very versatile vehicle. And then up top on the liftgate, there is a dome light, which you can turn on and off. And there is also one grab handle too, making it very easy to close. All right, so getting this 2021 Subaru Crosstrek Sport out on the road now. This is the first time that I've actually been behind the wheel of one and actually checked it out in detail. So this is a really cool vehicle to look at. And it's awesome to see that a lot of Subaru owners who are buying this vehicle use them to do a lot of outdoor activities. So Subaru has all the accessories and every mount that you could possibly want to put your kayak up on the roof, put your bike. You can put in a hitch if you'd like to, and carry even more items if you need that extra space. So it's awesome to see that these are actually being used for their purpose of going on to trails off-road, if you're going hiking on adventures like that. I have a friend who owns one of these. It has a little bit of a lift on it with some larger tires, and he uses this to go into the mountains, to go hiking, to do adventures like that. And he says it handles very well for the gravel situations. Of course, it being all-wheel drive and having those different modes that I showed by pushing this button right in the middle, you can pretty much go anywhere you want in this vehicle. But since I'm not doing any of that today, just driving it out on the road here, it's very comfortable for driving out on the road. So this would be a great daily driver if you need this amount of space, if you're looking for all of those accessories and doing all of those types of activities. But if you're just driving this on the road, it's very quiet on the inside, super insulated. I can barely hear any wind noise or road noise. So it's enjoyable to ride to get you from point A to point B. But at the same time too, it's incredibly practical with all the space that you have in the back. You can fold down the seats. But now let's go ahead and give it a little bit of gas, get up to the speed limit here, just in normal mode, not doing anything crazy, and we're up to the speed limit just like that. This is not a 0 to 60 vehicle, but it can get up to speed with this 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine. I wouldn't worry about merging into traffic or anything like that. Definitely has the power to do it. Now, if I go ahead and push on this SI drive mode, we were on the blue line, which was a little bit more of an angle. The yellow line kind of goes up some, so we'll see if it has a little bit more throttle response. And I can feel a little bit, nothing too crazy, but we're up to the speed limit again. And so it's nice that you have both of those options. A lot of awesome technology in this car too, with the blind spot. You have the adaptive cruise and all of that technology. So it makes it that much better of a daily driver. Very easy to see all around too. A ton of glass in this model. Pillars in the back are not all that bulky, but it's nice that there's that small window in the back too. So you can look over your left shoulder and see out of that window, use that window on your right side. And of course you have your side mirrors too. But it's also really nice to see that we have a large window in front of these side mirrors. So that definitely helps out on the passenger side as far as visibility goes. And now just talking about this interior, I put a few miles on this. As I mentioned, it's very comfortable to drive, but we have a nice layout. I love this large screen. All that information that's up in the other LCD screen is very easy to read, but we have a great layout, not a whole lot of buttons either. So it makes it very easy to go through all this information. You basically have everything that you need. And so now I'll pop it over into the manual setting. So if you do want to use these paddle shifters, you can see what gear you're in on that LCD screen. And we'll give it a little bit of gas here. Paddles are very responsive, so if you need to use these, if you're going on some gravel roads or something and you want to hold in a better gear to get a little bit more traction and not to have the vehicle kind of bogged down in a higher gear, you can pop it over into the manual setting here and use it in a little bit different of a way, not necessarily out on the road, but you can. However, I do see it being a little bit more beneficial going on some gravel roads and things like that, which is really cool to see. So Subaru has definitely tailored this vehicle to those outdoorsy enthusiasts who are going off the pavement to do all of those activities, and you have a very capable vehicle to do that. But I think that's going to wrap it up for my walk around review and test drive, getting the 2021 Subaru Crosstrek Sport out on the road. Once again, huge shout out to Randy Marion Subaru for providing this vehicle for me today. Make sure you check out their website. That link is down in the description. If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button if you'd like to stay up to date on our daily uploads. I'll see you in the next video.